thank you to people who asked about my book. It was unrelated to anything that's happened in the past couple of days, but I did have a couple of comments asking what it was called, how to get it. Okay, here's the very brief story. I can give you the title, but it doesn't really matter. The book's called Missive. It is the first part of a trilogy. And it doesn't really, I say it doesn't really matter what the title is because often in publishing, if you get published, they'll just change the name to whatever they want it to be. So you can't really look it up. I wrote the book back in 2013. And it is a book about, it's a speculative fiction novel, and it is about a world in which people become really addicted to something called the stream, which is their social media. Sorry, doorbell. They can become really addicted to social media, and they lose the ability for long-term memory and as such comparison and realizing what's going on around them. And the government uses this to manipulate them. And it takes place, the main character is the woman who has an eidetic memory. She does remember everything that's going on, and she is sort of a socialite. So she's very much in the public eye and is sort of in all of the paparazzi and everything, all the stream people hang on her every move. She finds out that her boyfriend is actually been spying on her for the government and then having his memory erased. So he doesn't know that he's doing it. So when she realizes this, the two of them have to go on the run. They have to figure out if they're going to tell the public what's going on, use their platforms, or if they're going to run or whatever. And when this is happening, the government puts out that they've been in a plane crash. And so they are now fighting for their lives and going through and meeting rebel factions and trying to figure out what this real world really is about them. The crazy part is I wrote it back in 2013. I did go through like all my beta readers and all of my editing and everything else. But at the time, streaming didn't exist. Like Periscope, if anybody remembers Periscope, that hadn't come out yet. And a lot of the things that I wrote in my book didn't exist. And then over the years, I've had beta readers come to me and be like, hey, that thing that you wrote came true. But life got in the way. And so I put it in a drawer and I tried to get an agent at the time, but then I had to figure out my own life. And last year I decided to pull it back out again and see if it was worth looking at. And I gave it a reread and decided, wow, this is even more timely than it was before. Unfortunately, a lot of these speculative items have actually come true. And last year I took a 10-week writing deep dive series through the shit no one tells you about writing. And then life got in the way again. But this year I have already started querying agents. So I am looking for an agent. I am hoping that it gets published or somebody's interested in it. And to be perfectly clear, I didn't make those other videos to try to gain attention for this. It's just that a lot of people have asked, so I thought I made a little video about it. I'm not trying to capitalize on this, the whole situation. Like, my country is more important, to be perfectly honest. I think as a speculative fiction writer, none of us want to see the things that we make fictional books about actually come true.